Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show and another episode of our Raw Reaction series, specifically the Arsenal transfer show, joining you every single morning at 8 a.m. UK time, keeping you up to date with everything that's going on in the world of Arsenal transfers. Hope you're doing good, hope you're doing well. Yesterday evening was a frustrating one for a lot of Arsenal fans that were following all of the information on the socials. It could prove to be a very frustrating end to the window for Arsenal. We'll have to wait and see. We're kind of hoping that something is kind of pulled out of a top hat at this point. Hopefully it's not a white rabbit. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's genuinely a striker that will do us some business before the end of the season. But hope you're doing good, guys, in the chat box. Let's see what we're saying. Good morning, Manu. Good morning, Julian. Good morning, Ty Gunnosaurus. Very tired by this point, I imagine. Good morning to Olu, to Rick. Good morning to Adam. Good morning to Rahil, Jonty, Christopher, Marcus. Bushmumi, good morning to Vinny, good morning to Marcus, to Joel, to Nanjundi, good morning to Rich Kanu. Scrolling down a little bit more, let's not make sure we don't miss some people joining a little bit later. Marco, we've got John, we've got Shembo, we've got Big TI, we've got Harvey, Zander, Flux GT. Good morning to so many of you. As always, apologies I can't say morning to everybody, but good morning to all of you, Oki and Dan and Heidi and Dirks and Billy Boy too, and who else we got? Papa Akonda and Thibaut Pesk as well. Good morning to everybody. We're 5 days to go until the end of the window. So if you could, please drop a like on the video. That's the first thing. Just click on the video, you click the thumbs up button, you show your support. We get onto the news. And also, if you could, it'd be great because we've hit 8,000 subs over on the Arsenal Way. We hit that yesterday. It'd be great if we could move on our way to 10,000 subs, get as close to it as possible before the end of the window. So if you're not subscribed to the Arsenal Way, link in the description, please make sure you go over there and hit that subscribe button. Anyway, let's crack on with the first story of today, which is that Lucas Torreira has won the Player of the Month award for Fiorentina. It's the irony, isn't it? January really, it's grabbed Arsenal and it's just shoved, it's really just squashed Arsenal. It's just kicked us in the teeth several times with how much the irony is hitting us. That our midfielder that we could have desperately done with this during this month has won the Player of the Month for Fiorentina. Less said about that, the better. Tyreece John-Jules has also joined, I was going to say Reading then, but it's not Reading, Sheffield Wednesday, because Carl Hine has joined Reading, as we talked about yesterday. Tyreece John-Jules joined Sheffield Wednesday. He'll be the replacement for Theo Corbeanu, who joined MK Dons from Wolves. He'll replace that slot of a forward. Fingers crossed he can get his career back on track in League One. Fingers crossed that's the right move for him. It didn't go as well in the Championship in the first 6 months. Fingers crossed it can work out a lot better in the third tier. Moving on to the final possible out, and unfortunately, to make life even worse for ourselves, William Saliba is being linked with a permanent move to Marseille. Now, saying this, of course, we did cover the story that Marseille are being threatened with a transfer ban. That has not yet come into effect. And I think that what we've looked at is a situation similar to Chelsea, where they're going to look to appeal and delay this decision as long as feasibly possible. And because of that, it could mean that they allow themselves time to sign players in the summer. And a report coming out of France is claiming that Saliba is very, very happy in Marseille. So much so that if they were to get Champions League football, which is, very likely this season based upon how they're doing, that he may want to stay. Now, as far as I'm aware, and he very much wants to stay, or rather Arsenal very much want him to stay at the club. There's plans for him next season. They would be utterly mental to let Saliba go. By far one of the best young centre-backs on the planet right now. Why they would let him go is absolutely beyond me. And they would have to pay a hell of a lot more than what we paid for him when we brought him in, if they can afford it. So we'll wait and see what happens with this one. But it's set to be another summer of frustration where we have to follow this story, and fingers crossed Saliba comes back motivated for his time back at Arsenal. Now, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is of interest to a number of clubs. He isn't going to move to the Middle East from the looks of things. He has no interest in moving there. But what he will do from the looks of things is move somewhere else. It is expected that there is lots of interest from a number of clubs on the continent that could provide Aubameyang with kind of that still elite level of football that he wants. And the latest club to kind of come to the fore quite heavily is supposedly AC Milan. AC Milan considering a move for Aubameyang. They've already got Ibrahimovic. They've already got Olivier Giroud. But Aubameyang could add a dimension that they don't already have in their side. And Milan, of course, where he used to play previously of Milan, it could be a return for Aubameyang to the San Siro. We'll see how this one transpires. It's going to be touch and go whether or not he leaves. He's not expected to join up with the players on their warm weather training camp in Dubai. Ironically, he will literally not be traveling to the Middle East at all whatsoever. Even when the club is going there, he's not going to be moving there. So all the kind of hints do lean back to him moving in the direction of somewhere else before the close of the window. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, regarding possible ins, which is obviously where your heads are all most interested about, according to a good friend of mine, Simon Collins at the Evening Standard, Nat Turner still looks like the most likely deal to take place. Conversations between Arsenal and New England Revolution continue to go on to try and sort a deal to replace Bernd Leno, who could still leave between now and the end of the window. Newcastle are said to be interested in Bernd Leno. He's a very good goalkeeper. I've done my research on him now. I've written the article in comparison to him and Ramsdale, and he comes out very favourably. I saw a lot of USA fans criticising him kind of playing out from the back. He's not as good as Zach Steffen at that, and I think that probably emphasises the difference between the two. But he still can play out from the back. He's still got very good distribution statistics that definitely would have showed up in Arsenal's, in Arsenal's kind of analytics, I suppose is the right word, of the players that they're looking for. So Matt Turner could be a player that we end up signing before the close of the window, and looks to be the most likely of any of them. A backup goalkeeper kind of tells you how January's been for Arsenal this month, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on to Luka Jovic. This looks like a no-go. Despite reports that Luka Jovic had been offered to Arsenal to sign on a loan deal, reports coming out from Spain and closer to Madrid claim that there is no intention from Real Madrid to allow Luka Jovic to leave Real Madrid on loan, contradicting reports coming out from UK-based sources. Frustrating, because I think he could have done a job for us on loan. I think it would have been a decent signing for us to bring in, but beyond Benzema, and Real Madrid are struggling for a central striker. So they would leave themselves quite thin if Benzema was to get injured. So I can see why they are looking to keep hold of Luka Jovic, but it will mean that Arsenal need to move on to a different striker target. Could that be Alexander Isak? We will have to wait and see, but supposedly Real Sociedad would demand the full release clause paid all at once immediately to sanction any kind of departure. And even if Arsenal were to pay the release clause, guess what? Reports suggesting that Isak has his own concerns about Arsenal. Amazing how quickly things change, isn't it? How attractive Arsenal can look as a project. All of a sudden, now they don't. I don't buy too much into the reservation reports regarding Isak. I think if Arsenal played the release clause, Isak would be very open to the move to Arsenal. That's my own feeling about the situation. I don't know why he would. I don't know why on earth he would look to turn down that possible move to a club that are pushing upwards, are trying to move towards the Champions League places, playing in the Premier League. Look, if they paid the release clause, I have my confidence that a deal could be done for Alexander Isak. Arsenal do have really good relations as well with Real Sociedad, which is something I've come to learn in the last 24 hours based upon deals that have been done in the past with the likes of Carlos Vela, Nacho Monreal. And interestingly, when Real Sociedad refurbed their stadium, Anoeta, they actually consulted with Arsenal because of, Arsenal refurbing and rebuilding a brand new stadium at the Emirates. And those relationships have stayed strong since then. And we gave them quite a favourable deal with Nacho Monreal when he left Arsenal, moved for a very low fee, and it kept kind of those relations between the clubs quite good. But still, La Real would look to demand the full release clause of their best player, which makes complete sense. I say best player, Oyarzabal and Mikel Moreno and David Silva, arguably too, are very, very good, but by far their best forwards. And it's going to be one that will run until the end of the season. Let's see, end of the January window at least. Let's see if Arsenal do go crazy and activate the release clause between now and the 31st of January. And finally, the big story of yesterday evening was, of course, Bruno Guimaraes, the Brazilian Lyon midfielder linked with Arsenal for a number of years, let alone months, all the way back from when he was playing at Atletico Paranaense in Brazil. He has now been the subject of a 40 million euro bid, not from Arsenal, but from Newcastle United, that, according to mixed reports, has been accepted by the French side. And now it is down to the player about whether or not he wishes to complete this move to Newcastle. Now, I saw a lot of people tweet me this because a lot of people know how much I like Bruno Guimaraes. They know how much I've rated this guy. And even saw people comparing what could be a meltdown on this channel to when we lost out in the race to Emi Buendia. I'm going to try and rein in my emotions if we were to see Guimaraes move to Newcastle. But what I would say is that this is one of the silliest decisions, not only of a player's career anyway, to go and move to Newcastle, but it's the silliest decision from Arsenal if we don't jump on this. 33 odd million quid, 30 to 36 million pounds for Bruno Guimaraes. Are you kidding? Are we really not going to do that? Are we really not going to compete for that signing? Are we really prioritizing Artur? He is a excellent midfielder. And look, we would have to go and sign a hell of a midfielder in the summer because it's not going to happen in January. We would have to sign one hell of a midfielder in the summer to make me feel like we've made the right decision. I don't know who that is, but it would have to be someone blooming good for them to justify not bringing in Bruno Guimaraes on a 33 to 36 million pound deal. He's someone who progresses the ball, really good in recovery, really good tackler. His tackling stats are way better than people give him credit for. Just the way in which he moves the ball forwards. I mean, you see the assist he had for Paqueta against, I want to say PSG, a couple of weeks ago. That in itself shows you what he's capable of doing. And just the upgrade on Granit Xhaka that he would provide alongside Thomas Partey. Oh, it's just a frustration. And Thracian, I absolutely agree with this comment. If we really wanted Guimaraes, then we would get him. If we've been watching him for 2 to 3 years, then we can't watch him. Then we can't want him that much. And I do agree with you. If we did want him, surely we would be going for him. And it's just not happening, which is a real shame because I think he's a great player. I'm not going to melt down about this, but I am going to be very frustrated to see him go. Regarding the wages, what Newcastle are offering, I've seen different reports. I've seen reports say 65 grand a week. I've seen other people claim £200,000 a week. I even tweeted the 200k thing yesterday before doing a little bit more searching around and saw a lot more people putting the 65k that I trust a bit more. So I deleted that tweet because I thought, there's no point in me just sticking up one figure when there's so many conflicting reports out here. And a lot of people jumped on the back of that tweet as well. So I was like, nah, I ain't doing this. Not doing this at all. So, look, whatever they're offering him, it will be a significant step up in wages from what he's earning at Lyon right now. And Arsenal have the financial capacity to sign him. We know that. We have the capacity to bring him in. It's just a shame if we don't. We will have to wait and see what happens. There's 5 days left, and Arsenal have got a lot to do between now and the end of the window. I'm probably going to write rather emotionally about this. But fingers crossed we can do something. We're going to move on to your questions in the chat box. Before we do, though, if you're watching, you haven't clicked the like button yet, please make sure you do show your support to the channel. We've been putting on this show, rain or shine, misery or excitement, every single day for the last, 300 odd days? Something silly like that. In fact, I don't know how many we've done of the other show. I can't remember when we actually started this. I can't remember if we started this during the January window of last season. We might have done that. So we've been going nearly for a whole year, I think, now. So I don't know when we started. Maybe it was closer to the summer window. Anyway, just drop a like. It really helps the channel, and it shows that you're liking the content. And if you have any critiques, then put them in the comment section. We do listen. Let's jump into your questions. This window is really taking it absolutely out of me. Really, really has. You know what? I can't do an 8 a.m. show on deadline day because I'm doing a 6 a.m. till 6 a.m. till 4 p.m. shift over at Football London. That's my shift on deadline day. I volunteered for that, so I can't blame anyone. I volunteered for the early shift, but I am genuinely considering doing a deadline day vlog just to kind of show you what my day from a journalism standpoint might look like on deadline day, just to see me getting more anxious and stressed. If you want to see a deadline day vlog from what it's like from the perspective of someone who's covering the news all day for a news outlet, then let me know in the comment section, and I'll do my best. I tried doing a vlog at home before, and it didn't really. I wasn't too keen on it, but maybe deadline day will throw up some crazy stuff. So if you'd like to see that, let us know, and yeah, I'll see what I can do. Let's go to some of your questions. Vinny says, would you have accepted Bruno only, but no striker as a... No, absolutely not, Vinny. The striker is minimum the priority. It's absolutely the priority in this window would be to get in a striker, because we're one Lacazette injury away, as I keep on saying, from Nketiah being our only starting striker, whilst Aubameyang is exiled. Whereas in midfield for Wolves, we'll have Partey, we'll have Xhaka, we'll have Lokonga, we'll have El Neni, we'll have Patino if we need him. We've got Ødegaard who can play deeper if we want him to, but we don't like him there. We've got lots of options come Wolves, but in striker, we don't have that. We don't have that same freedom. We just don't have that same level of depth. So no, a successful window is a midfielder and a striker. A decent, okay window is the striker. But really, we do need both. Oki says, Tom, considering how important Premier League experience is for us, are there any think outside the box strikers you can think of currently playing in the Premier League that we could tempt? Maybe we go to Watford and be like, look, he's 20 million quid. Give us Dennis. He's scoring bare goals. Like, give us Dennis. I think he'd rather play for Arsenal right now than Watford. And, you know, people will turn their noses up at that. But the thing is, people look at Alexander Isak and go, oh, his goal record's not good enough. But Dennis has been absolutely smashing it in the Premier League this season for Watford. I'm not fully convinced by him, but I'd take him for the rest of the season. I would absolutely take him for the rest of the season. Jamie says, Tom, why do we even bother following these links? Why not just wait and see, celebrate players once they actually sign? It would eliminate the weeks of frustration and eventual anger when we sign none. Jamie, I mean, you're in the wrong place to be putting in questions like that on a daily 8 a.m. transfer show. But the reason is because, look, we love it. We, in a weird way, in a painful way, we kind of do. And if you don't, I don't think you'd be on here. I don't think you'd be watching the show. I don't think you'd be following all the transfer accounts. Deep down, we kind of love the buzz. We love the rush. We love the discussions, the debates, the anger, the angst, the frustration, the joy when we actually do sign someone great. And those moments where, you know, we activate a release clause on deadline day or pull off the Tomiyasu signing and we're utterly surprised by how good they are. Going into the finer details of looking at how good Ben White is or Ramsdale's statistics are. Everything about the transfer window is chaotic, unpredictable, and it's weirdly and painfully great. So that's why we do it, Jamie, because strangely and statistically, we kind of love that pain and we love what it could bring. The same way is it's kind of a microcosm of football in a weird way, because football is, you don't know what you're going to get every game. You could expect to, you know, sign a great striker the same way that you could expect to beat Burnley, and you don't, and you feel that angst and that emotion. But that's why we love this sport, because it brings us every element of the spectrum of emotion that you can get. Wow, I didn't think you'd go that into an emotional rant, did you? Who says, "Hey Tom, who will go for Bruno, Tielemans, or De Jong? Also, how many centimeters do we need for the summer?" Look, I still think we need 2. We need to upgrade on Xhaka. We need to upgrade on El Neni, and I'd bring in 2 players that can compete with Thomas Partey. Tielemans, I'd love to see us go for someone like that. De Jong would be great, of course. Don't know how acceptable that is. Bruno, as you know, I like him a lot. Tchouameni at Monaco would be another one, but I feel like you need to get into the Champions League if you want to go for a player as highly rated as that. Let's wait and see what happens, but I do think that 2 is what we need. So there you go. Omar says, breaking news, I finally made an 8 a.m. show. Fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you. Sam says, does Dominic Calvert-Lewin suit our number 9? Suit the number 9? We want in regards to the link-up style of play that we require. He seems more of a poacher like Eddie. I think he does, Sam. Yes, he's got those poaching abilities and finishing abilities, but he's better in the air. He's more physical. He can hold up the ball. I like other strikers a little bit more. I've grown to like Jonathan David a hell of a lot more. I think he would probably be behind Vlahovic, who, wow, that's the first time I've said his name, and it's taken 19 minutes to do 20 minutes to name that player. Who would have thought we would have been at the end of the window and it takes me 20 minutes to mention Vlahovic's name? Things change so quickly. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, though, I rate him. I like him. He's not injury prone like people want to make out. His injuries don't suggest that. They're of a different style, that he's not Renato Sanchez, that's for sure. But Jonathan David is my pick. I don't think you can get Calvert-Lewin in January. I don't think you can get David in January, which is why probably Isak is the only one that you would be able to get, which I would be absolutely delighted with if we managed to get him in. Let's scroll down. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, yes, do the vlog. Deadline day vlog would be awesome. Okay, well, I'll do my best. I can't promise, because last time I tried to do a vlog, to vlog one of my days of writing, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. I watched quite a bit of Casey Neistat, and I tried doing a little bit of his style of vlogging, which I may do with time lapses and stuff of me writing and doing the shows. But, I'm concerned that it won't be as good as it is in my head. So we'll see. Byron says, Tom, do you think that we will be typically Arsenal, make no signings until deadline day and only sign one player? Look, I absolutely will expect us to bring someone in on deadline day, because it's just what we do. We just do this. There's something about Arsenal. I'm trying to think of the last time we didn't sign someone on a summer deadline day. We did it last year in 2021 with Tomiyasu. We did it the year before with Thomas Partey. 2019, who did we bring in 2019? We brought in Pepe and Turney, and bring anyone in on deadline day? Was it David Luiz that we brought in on deadline day in 2019? Let's have a look. I think we brought in David Luiz on deadline day. Did we bring in anyone else? I can't think of anyone else that signed on deadline day, but I think it might have just been David Luiz, or maybe Turney joined on deadline day. I can't remember. I'm sure they both joined on the same day, Turney and Luiz. Who knows? But I think maybe that happened then. The year before, did we sign anyone on deadline day? Torreira, Leno, Socrates, Guendouzi, Lichtsteiner. None of them joined on deadline day, did they? So I don't think we signed anyone deadline day that year. The year before, Lacazette didn't join on deadline day. Kolasinac didn't. So, I mean, the last couple of years, last 2 to 3 years, we have. But, I mean, it kind of suggests that we could do that. So we'll have to wait and see. Bearded Gooner in the chat box. Hello, mate. Hey, Tom. Hope you're well. Been a while since I've been with you live. Do you see Aubameyang getting back into the team before the end of the season? My honest answer, mate, is no. I don't think, Tanner, he is, unfortunately. I do think that Aubameyang will probably leave before the end of the January window. I think he'll move to somewhere else on loan for the rest of the season. Because he'll want to play. He doesn't want to be sitting doing nothing, despite, what people may think. He will want to be playing football. It's what he loves doing. So absolutely he will, in my opinion, move on before the end of the January window if he has no hope of getting back into the Arsenal team. Let's scroll down. Gray says, surely we can persuade Lille to sell David in January. Look, I thought this. Look, put 50 million on the table, see what happens. We've got that kind of money, just do it. But it's very difficult to do with this amount of time left in the window. That's the problem. If he says, do you think that we are linked with Douglas Luiz? Do you think we are linked with Douglas Luiz links? And do you think it has anything to do with the Bentancur joining Villa? Is Bentancur actually joining Villa? Because if Bentancur is, then that's a ridiculously good bit of business by them. I don't see anything suggesting that it's like a done deal or it's absolutely happening. They're hopeful of signing Bentancur, considering fresh proposal. Look, he's a great midfielder, and I'd be like, why wouldn't we go in for someone like that? It's that frustration, isn't it? It's just that same questioning, why on earth are we not trying for someone like that? Arsenal Legend says, hi, Tom, great show. However, what do you think about the rumours of Ruben Neves over Bruno? He's had a great season as Ruben Neves. I wouldn't write him off. Either of those two, I'd be very happy, but I don't see Wolves selling him in January. I just don't see it happening. Let's scroll down right to the bottom. I know I'm going to miss out a lot of questions, but I feel like I don't give credit to the earlier or the latest ones. Vishal says, Vlahovic to Juve, Isak doubtful, Cabral to Fiorentina. That in itself is so annoying. Cabral to Fiorentina. How on earth are we going to let him move for 13.4 million quid? Look, if you need a striker, bring him in. There may be work permit issues, I understand that, but he's just been called up for the Brazilian national side. Surely there's going to be a case if Arsenal want to try and get him a work permit. Surely we could get that deal done. It seems mad not to consider him. Real Madrid want to keep Jovic. Feels like we're running out of options. What happens if we sign no one? Very concerning. I think you answer your own question, Vishal. If we sign no one, it's very, very concerning. That's the reality of the situation. That's what it is. Arsenal, we've done that one. Barry says, any word on where Leno may end up if he goes this window? Newcastle on loan with an option, I imagine will be. And it'll be an option that turns into an obligation if they stay up. That's what I probably think would happen if we signed kind of Matt Turner. We'll wait and see. John says, Jan, transfer window should be reduced to 24 hours. Every club has one representative and a glass room with mics and cameras. Nothing but beer served for the final 12 hours. Nobody comes or goes. What fun. It would be very, very entertaining, John. But then we wouldn't have this drawn-out, agonizing pain. And we'd miss that, right? We'd miss this drawn-out period of pain, would we not? Carl says, how worried are you about the upcoming fixtures? I'm terrified if we start falling out of the European places. I'm not terrified. I'm excited. I anticipate the next game. I look forward to the next game. I'm desperate for us to win the next game. We'll wait and see. As I feel like that should become kind of my motto. Is that the word? Saying, like, I keep saying we'll wait and see because it's so uncertain this window. We just don't know what's going to happen. Ozzy says, would you take Patrick Schick? Look, I was really kind of not anti-Schick, but I was reserved on Schick. And then yesterday on the Arsenal Way, I did a show in which I sat down with Josh Williams, who's our scouting writer at Reach. And we picked our 3 forwards that we would like to see Arsenal sign between now and the end of the window. He's a Liverpool fan, by the way, so he's coming from more of a neutral perspective. And he brought up Patrick Schick as his number 1 choice. And he was like, if you're willing to spend 60 to 70 million pounds on Dusan Vlahovic, and you can go and get a 26-year-old Patrick Schick who shares a lot of the similar characteristics, but is a bit older, why not go and do it? And to be honest, he raised a really good argument for Schick. And I do tend to agree, and I think he changed my mind about Schick, actually, and I think he would suit a lot of the characteristics that we want. So I have opened my mind more to Schick, and to be honest, I've opened my mind to Chris Wood. At this stage, we just need someone in. We do need a striker. Thracian says, I think we will bring in 3 players before the end of the window, striker, midfielder, and goalkeeper if Leno goes, but I don't know who. How many do you think? I think we'll get 1. I don't know where. I'm not going to tell you where. I don't know. I've lost all sense of anything. I've lost all sense of self, about prediction, about what might happen. Because, look, my expectation is that I think Arsenal are going to keep things as secret and as under wraps as feasibly possible. They're going to try and prevent any information from leaking out in the last few days because they know how difficult it's going to be to sort stuff. Arteta was in Denver with Stan Kroenke, unless that was specifically about contract talks, which would be very weird considering how busy the end of the window is. Surely that was about releasing funds to go hard in the market for someone. Hopefully it is. I don't know why it takes going to Denver to do that. Like WhatsApp and Zoom exist, but I suppose maybe it shows that commitment and the dedication and whatever. Hopefully it just means something. You'd hope Arsenal surely can't let... surely Arsenal cannot allow, anyway, this window to end without anyone being brought in. It would be ridiculous, but it would be very Arsenal. So there is always that. Karthik says, can Arsenal fans ever reach nirvana, trust the club and do the best? Annoyed even Spurs fans are like, if Conte wants Adama, we are in. Look, I wouldn't take Adama Traore. That is a desperation signing. It's just not very good. I just don't think he's very good. He's very likable. He's very unique, like with his bulkiness and his speed and his muscle, and he's got no end product. His end product is awful. So that signing doesn't bother me in any way. What does bother me is Luis Diaz being linked with Spurs and Spurs going for. They really better not get Luis Diaz, because a front 3 of Diaz and Son and Kane that propels you to Champions League places. That does. So I really hope that isn't the case. Jasmine says, Tom, why aren't we pushing for Amin Gouiri? In my opinion, he'd be a very good player for us. Also, he'd be a good second striker once we get that main number 9. Probably because he's not the out-and-out striker that we want right now, Jasmine. I know he can play there, but probably because of that. And Arsenal are looking to try and bring in that main one. John says, Tom, please read my questions. You see, John, no, I can't, because if I give in and read your question, then everyone will just put that. But I've read that comment. Harish says, I like Isak, but I don't think he is a number 9. But if we want to get these profiles to have fluid front threes, I would like us to get Nkunku or João Felix. My ideal signing. Who do you think? Or rather, what do you think? Look, I think that the out-and-out number 9 is always the profile that we need. Yes, the fluid front three is something that Arteta likes. He likes his number 9 to drop in and link up space and create space behind him for the wingers to run into, like Martinelli, like we saw against Leeds is a really good example. But I'm not sure that I would go for an Nkunku or a João Felix. I feel like I would rather go for a Vlahovic type, even though we're not going to get him. But, you know, just the out-and-out striker. That's what I want to see at the club. I love, John, you're now guilt tripping me. Like the questions from your son. Hello, John's son. I'm not being guilt tripped into answering your question. Ozzy says, Tom, this is extremely out of the blue, but would you take Lukaku on the premise he would want to come and not come in every interview and say he wants to go back to Inter? He seems ideal. Look, that ain't happening, man. It's just not happening. Oh, jeez, no. Well, would I take Lukaku? Yes, but no. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Let's scroll up, see if I've missed any questions at all. Scrolling up a little bit more. Have I missed any big ones? Navarro says, Tom, why do I have the urge to just break stuff around the room? Look, again, if this window is affecting your general mental state, chill, take a day off, go and do something else. It should not affect you that much. It really shouldn't. Thanks, Daniel. That's a really kind comment. If you aren't subscribed to Daniel Bailey TV, help him get up to his, I think it was 5K, wasn't it? 5K target. The link to Dan's channel is in our phone-in show video, but if you just type in Daniel Bailey TV, it'll come up. Really nice lad. Let's scroll up a little bit more. Jack says, it wasn't John, it was his son. Going to have to read it for him. I can't find John's question now, even though I feel so bad inside. John, where is your question? John, if you put the question in again, I'll be able to find it. Just type it in again, because I'm struggling to scroll up to find the question. I feel like I have to answer it. I'm scrolling up, John, and I'm struggling to find it. I'm sorry. If you type it in again, John, I'll do my best to try and find it again. If everyone can point out what it was, that'd be great. I made it to a live show, says Udder Relay. Woohoo. You're going to regret it. Adnan says, hey, Tom, what about Richarlison? Oh, good. So I'm not criticising Adnan, the choice of Richarlison. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen during the January window. They're never going to accept a bid for him. Ozzy says, Tom, you should make a show giving people ideas to get their minds off of the transfer business, although seems kind of counterproductive for the channel. I'm losing my mind myself. Yeah, not the best business technique, Ozzy. Here's some great ideas for content. Tell people not to watch the content. Works really well. Dogan says, what do you think about Darwin Nunez? In my opinion, he's one of the best that we could get. Again, I've not seen enough of him, but people rave about him. So who knows? Maybe he's the type of player that we need, but I've not seen enough to sit here and say absolutely. He's our daily he's our daily Arteta out comment. It was at 1818 when he posted the comment. I'm going up to 1818, John. I'm in 1818, but there's a lot of comments. I'm never gonna. Oh, I found it. I'm 7. My name is Jack Daly, and I can play up front. So keep an eye out for me in the 9 or 10 years. I'll outscore Dusan Vlahovic in my first season for Arsenal. Remember the name. Remember Jack Daly, people. That wasn't a question. That was just self-advertisement. I mean, he's got a knack for advertisement. It'll be great in the sector. I tell you, John, you've got a kid there that knows exactly how to play the system. Ridiculous. Lars says, you think there should be a special deadline day episode in the Amazon doc? There better bloody be. I tell you, there really better be a deadline day. You could do the whole Amazon series on just the January window. Surely you could just do the whole series would just be about. It's got to at least be 2 episodes. I mean, we've got the whole summer window to be in that documentary. Surely we're going to see loads of episodes on transfers. The Red Gorilla says, my 99-year-old mum wants to know if we should trigger Isak's release clause. Stop using your family members as collateral for me to answer questions. This is not how this works. And yes, we should absolutely activate his release clause. Carl says, Tom, is now a good time to review the last transfer window and see how our buyers missed and targeted? Oh, I can't think about another transfer window, Carl. We haven't finished this one yet. Let's finish this transfer window before we start thinking about that. I'm going to wrap things up before people start offering up family members for questions anymore. This is getting ridiculous. Anyway, that is over 900 of you watching. It's an entertaining morning. Let's be real. Please do drop a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll join you tomorrow morning for the next one. Oh, we're nearly there. We're nearly at the end. We're nearly at the end of the window. Fingers crossed we can bring someone in. That would be great. I'm sure there'll be plenty more news dropping for you today. And you'll be able to keep up to date with it over on Football London as we write our pieces over there. And also, I'll be live in just under an hour's time on the Arsenal Way again. So if you're not done listening to my rants about the transfer window, join us at 9:30 a.m. over on the Arsenal Way. Link is in the description to the channel. Go subscribe. We're on our way now to 10,000 subs. And to be fair, we're now less than 300 subs from 30K here. So if you haven't subbed, please sub. It really helps us out. And it'd be an amazing achievement to go from, I think we were like 27,000 at the start of the window or just before the window to 30K. That'd be amazing. So if you could, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. As always, I will see you tomorrow morning for the next one, and I'll see you in just under an hour on the Arsenal Way. It's been a pleasure to speak to you guys, as it always is. And as always, up the Arsenal.